At the story's outset, we find a tattoo artist and his clients, both exuding an intense energy reminiscent of two lions in heat, creating a lively atmosphere. A year prior, Yu-chan encountered his girlfriend, who, with a puzzled look, inquired if she had arrived at the wrong location. With a confident grin, she reassured him that she was precisely where she needed to be, in the building on the 4th floor. Feeling a sense of relief, Yu-chan smiled back at her, sensing that everything was just fine. The couple made their way to the elevator, eager to spend the day together, with the thrill of their reunion hanging in the air. And yes, for those curious, this is a BL Manhwa, so rest assured, there's plenty of masculine action, wink wink. Yu-chan's girlfriend glanced at him and mentioned that the navigation system was directing them there as well. With a playful smile, she asked if he felt any fear. Yu-chan, a bit bewildered, responded, "Fear of what?" She explained in a teasing manner that she thought he might be nervous about the situation. She admitted that a muscular man covered in tattoos was her ideal type, but she pondered what would happen if he felt intimidated. Yu-chan chuckled and assured her that he wasn't afraid and that they should proceed upstairs. As they ascended the stairs, he realized there was no turning back in Yu-chan's life. As Yu-chan was about to press the doorbell, his girlfriend stopped him, pointing to a sign that read, "Beware of fierce dogs." With a smile, Yu-chan remarked that it was an odd phrase to see in relation to dogs. Just then, a girl opened the door and greeted them with, "Welcome, customer. Did you have an appointment?" Yu-chan's girlfriend explained that she hadn't made a reservation but had come after hearing about the place from Chang-hoon, mentioning that she learned about it through her cousin's friend's friend. The girl, who introduced herself as Enlly, recognized Chang-hoon's name and invited them inside. Upon entering, Yu-chan expressed his surprise at being in such a place and questioned whether it was really worth the 600,000 wons per hour fee. Enlly, smiling, clarified that it was difficult to find because there was no sign outside and that they had only recently opened the shop. She asked them to take a seat for a moment. As Yu-chan's girlfriend looked around, she inquired about the sign warning of aggressive dogs, asking if there were any actual dogs present. Enlly responded that she had just gone to get vaccinated against rabies and wondered who would be responsible for that. The girlfriend, smiling, suggested that her boyfriend would take care of it. Intrigued, Enlly then asked if they were looking for a specific tattoo artist. Yu-chan's girlfriend, considering it for a moment, mentioned that she was looking for someone named Jungeology, and Enlly recognized the name immediately. Enlly explained that Jungeology Appa was the artist the guests typically requested, but he had been working since early morning and had fallen asleep, so it might take him a while to wake up. She promised to try and wake him, but cautioned that it might not be successful since he only accepted clients with prior reservations. At that moment, a man approached Enlly and inquired if she had a guest. Yu-chan recognized the man as Joe Jungeology. Shortly after, a plump guy came over and asked if they had a specific design in mind. Yu-chan's girlfriend showed her phone to the tattoo artist, who, upon seeing the image, joked that it looked like she had accidentally changed her wallpaper. She confirmed that was indeed the case, while Yu-chan, feeling resolute, urged him to proceed with the tattoo, explaining that he wanted to have his girlfriend's face inked. Enlly, looking a bit worried, cautioned him that he might come to regret such a decision, noting that 9 out of 10 couples end up breaking up and regretting their tattoos. Yu-chan, with confidence, replied that they had already made a promise to marry each other. Enlly, slightly taken aback, asked how long they had been together. Yu-chan's girlfriend smiled and shared that tomorrow marked their 100th day of dating, and the tattoo was meant to celebrate that milestone. The chubby tattoo artist, upon hearing this, remarked that it was quite a reckless choice. Enlly, hearing his comment, nudged him playfully and turned to Yu-chan, asking what size he wanted. Without hesitation, Yu-chan stated that he wanted it to be life-sized. Suddenly, an unexpected voice interrupted the discussion, asking Lee Tae-ho to check the identification of the young couple as they appeared to be students. Lee Tae-ho, the chubby tattoo artist, responded that they didn't look like college seniors at all. Jungeology, standing next to him, agreed that they seemed quite young. Lee Tae-ho insisted it would be wise to clarify their ages and requested Yu-chan to show his ID. Feeling a bit embarrassed, Yu-chan admitted that he had left it at home. Seizing the moment, Lee then asked if his girlfriend had also forgotten hers, suggesting that she should try to prove her age as an adult. Yu-chan felt uneasy about the situation and was unsure of how to proceed. In that moment, he decided to look up his age online, and when Lee confirmed that he was of legal age, he remarked that, as he suspected, Yu-chan was indeed an adult, despite his youthful appearance. Yu-chan appreciated the compliment, but Yuni, growing impatient, urged them to leave while she said something nice. Yu-chan thought to himself that he had no choice but to enter his father's resident registration number, although he doubted that would work either. Yu-chan's girlfriend, Eunbit, insisted that she was only asking once and couldn't accept a mere attempt, reminding them that they had come thanks to Changhun Appa's introduction. Yuni firmly stated that it wouldn't make a difference, even with Changhun's recommendation. Eunbit, not giving up, urged Yuni to consider that she had received permission from Yu-chan's parents. However, Yuni reiterated that even with that permission, minors were not allowed to get tattoos, and if Eunbit truly wanted one, she should seek another place. Feeling anxious, Eunbit turned to Yu-chan and asked what their next step would be, suggesting they might need to leave. Yu-chan stood up and asked Eunbit to step outside for a moment, assuring her that he would take care of the situation. Eunbit, trying to maintain harmony, suggested they could find another place to get the tattoo and proposed leaving. As they were about to exit, Yu-chan questioned why she had stopped him, as he was on the verge of saying something important. Eunbit replied that she preferred to talk things out rather than argue, suggesting that if it was merely a wish, perhaps they could soften their stance and accept it. With determination, Yu-chan declared that Baek Yu-chan had his pride and asked her to wait, promising that he would find a solution. Eunbit, doubtful, remarked that she believed they would ultimately be told no. Yu-chan moved closer to Eunbit, gently cupping her face in his hands, and asked if she trusted him. With confidence, Eunbit assured him that she absolutely believed in him. Yu-chan promised her that he would do anything for her, declaring that regardless of the cost, he was determined to get the tattoo. He mentioned that he had brought his mother's credit card and proposed that they get a beautiful tattoo and then enjoy a meal at a restaurant. Eunbit, filled with excitement, responded with an enthusiastic yes. With renewed determination, Yu-chan stepped back into the studio to request the tattoo and asked Lee to do it. Lee, looking concerned, replied that he couldn't proceed because if his Hyung found out he was tattooing a minor, it would lead to serious trouble. Yu-chan suggested keeping it a secret from the person in charge, but Lee insisted that his Hyung had specifically instructed him to check the client's IDs and told him to turn them away, assuring him that it wouldn't work. Frustrated, Yu-chan expressed that he couldn't find the right words to explain his situation. Lee, annoyed, told him to leave quietly, warning that if Jungeology woke up, it would create a scene. In response, Yu-chan pulled out a credit card and offered to pay 5 times the usual amount. Lee, taken aback, hesitated and asked if he was truly willing to pay that much, questioning whether he was interested in styles beyond just black and gray. Yu-chan, puzzled, asked what old school meant. Yuni, stepping in, reminded Lee that he was out of his mind to even consider tattooing a minor and warned that if Jungeology woke up, he would go ballistic. Lee, ignoring the warning, told Yu-chan that he was surprisingly skilled at old-school tattoos and offered to show him one of his works. Yuni, alarmed, insisted that it wouldn't work and urged Yu-chan to leave quickly, cautioning Taeho not to disregard what his appa had said. Seeing Yu-chan kneeling, Lee asked what he was doing. With a pleading look, Yu-chan asked him to just take a quick look, explaining that his girlfriend was waiting outside and desperately needed his help, assuring him that if they kicked him out, he didn't know what would happen to her. He insisted that he should be allowed this one time, believing he was saving someone's life. However, Lee remained hesitant and said he didn't know how to proceed. Yu-chan, resolute, suggested that he ask his Hyung to allow it. At that moment, Yuni interrupted, stating that no matter how he phrased it, something that couldn't be done simply couldn't be done. Frustrated, Yu-chan agreed to leave and declared that he would go out alone. As they were about to leave, Eunbit asked Yu-chan if they were really going to go through with it. Yu-chan glanced back at the shop and remarked that he didn't think Lee's skills were sufficient, suggesting they find a better place. However, Eunbit reminded him that Jiho Appa had said that Lee was the best. Yu-chan, puzzled, asked again who Jiho Appa was. Eunbit explained that he was a friend of Changhun Appa's friend. In a serious tone, Yu-chan cautioned her that all men were wolves except for him and advised her to keep her distance. Eunbit nodded in understanding. Meanwhile, Yu-chan thought to himself that he needed a tutor, feeling completely lost. Suddenly, a man stumbled into Eunbit, prompting Yu-chan to call out to him. When the man ignored him, Yu-chan grabbed him by the hair and struck him, demanding to know if he didn't know how to apologize. The man, taken aback, asked what kind of apology he was supposed to give, insisting he hadn't done anything wrong. Yu-chan explained that the man had bumped into his girlfriend's shoulder and turned to Eunbit for confirmation, who nodded and said it had hurt a lot. The man, looking confused, questioned when that had happened and if there was any proof. To emphasize his point, he deliberately bumped into Eunbit again, mocking her by asking if that was how he had hit her. Furious, Yu-chan seized the man by the neck, who shouted for him to let go and complained about his actions. Yu-chan retorted that all he needed was an apology, but people like him always made a big deal out of things. He asked if the man wasn't afraid of getting caught and if he felt any remorse. Then, with sarcasm, he mentioned the incredible strength of a ghost and the aura of an athlete. When he finally released him, the man complained that Yu-chan was looking at him oddly, pointing out that Eunbit had remained still. Yu-chan, maintaining his composure, demanded that the man apologize to Eunbit right away, urging him not to waste any more time. The man smiled and glanced to the side, which made Yu-chan notice another guy and comment that he assumed he had brought a friend to intimidate him. Addressing the newcomer, Yu-chan threw a punch, startling Eunbit. Trying to reassure her, he told her it was fine and that he would take care of the situation, suggesting that if she was scared, she should stay back. Eunbit, pointing with concern, clarified that her fear was not about that but something more serious. Realizing the gravity of the situation, Yu-chan exclaimed that now there were 4 of them. Eunbit, visibly frightened, asked what they should do now. In his mind, Yu-chan thought that after taking down the men, he would tell Eunbit to run to the tattoo shop. However, he quickly realized that he hadn't even considered the possibility of there being 6 of them in total, which left him anxious about how to handle the situation.